Are you looking to buy your next home but still need to sell your current home? Well, with over 15 years of experience in helping clients navigate this, I can help you identify the 5 most important mistakes to avoid. Mistake number 1 is not having your financing arranged. A lot of people just assume that they can go and buy a new home based on their current income because they feel like they're ready for an upgrade. However, there's a lot of things to take into consideration when you're speaking from a lending perspective. If you're going to buy the new home before you sell your current home, that means you're going to have to be able to carry both mortgages at once. So it's imperative that you speak to a lender to make sure that you're actually able to do that. Otherwise, you may find yourself spending a lot of time looking for larger homes only to find out last minute that you can't actually get approved to purchase them until you sell your home. So make sure you consult with a lender about this scenario. Right now, we're in a very competitive market where homes are selling quickly that are desirable. So if you don't have a pre-approval ready and all your ducks in a row, you can certainly lose out on the home that you really want. So you want to make sure you're armed with that ready to go. You also might find out in that process that you do in fact need to sell your home in order to get pre-approved for the next one. So if that's the case, this way you can strategize with the lender and your realtor on how to best approach that scenario. It may require getting a bridge loan or something in between. It may require pulling equity from your home, or it may require putting your home under contract first with an extended closing timeline so you can find your next home. It's certainly something you'd want to know going into your home search. Also, what I notice a lot of times right now is homeowners who have either purchased or refinanced in the last few years may have rates that are as low as 2.5%. I've even heard as low as 2%. And they may not be aware of how rates have changed over time. Right now, as I record this video, rates are hovering at around 7%. And you may be ready to upgrade your home, but you may not have considered what a 7% loan looks like on a monthly basis. And you may be surprised on what you can actually afford because of your debt to income ratio with these new rates. So again, to summarize, critical that you speak to a lender, and that's the first thing you do when going through this process. The second mistake to avoid is not having the right team in place. It feels like today everybody knows an agent, and a lot of times people fall into the trap of just using their distant cousin or uncle or a friend of a friend that does business once in a while. Now, that can hurt you for a number of reasons. But most importantly, you want somebody that's going to be able to actually have your new purchase go through smoothly and for the right price. And you want somebody that's going to get you top dollar for the property that you're selling. In addition, you want to make sure you have your attorney lined up for both your purchase and your sale. You want to have your lender. And if you need a home inspector, you're going to want that as well. This way, it helps make the process as smooth as possible as you go through it so there's no major hiccups. Because when you're trying to balance a purchase and a sale at the same time, any of these major delays can blow up your deal, especially if you're not able to financially carry both properties at once, or if you don't want to. So you definitely want to have those ducks in a row. You want to have that team lined up and ready to go. The third mistake is not having your listing ready to go. Now, you know what home you want to purchase. You have an idea in your head of what that looks like. But what you don't know is exactly when you're going to find that home. It could take you a week. It could take you 6 months, a year, maybe 2 years. But while you have the time, why not prepare your home for listing photos, for a video, for any marketing material, so that when you do find that right property, you have everything ready to go and the home looks as good as it can possibly look because you timed it all right. While you had downtime, you prepared the home, you cleaned out all your clutter, you depersonalized it, you took amazing photos, and you got everything ready to go. This way, whether it's a week, 6 months, a year, 2 years, you don't have to even worry about it. All you're focused on at that point is going through the mortgage process and purchasing the new home. You don't have to worry so much about getting your home ready for sale and decluttering and everything else. You have your team ready, you have your listing ready, and everything just goes smoothly. The fourth mistake that I sometimes see is sellers overpricing their home. I understand from a psychology perspective, you're purchasing a home that's more expensive than the one you're selling. I also understand you've built a lifelong memories in the home that you're selling, and it means a lot to you. But the mistake I see people make is they overvalue that home that they're selling to try and justify the more expensive one that they're purchasing. It's very important here that you listen to your agent when it comes to pricing. A property can be overpriced, underpriced, or priced right. What we typically see for properties overpriced is that it sits on the market and the perception of the property from the public's eye and from other agents' eyes changes, and it devalues the property, especially over time. And when that happens, the final sale price is lower than it should be. So it's very important you come up with a pricing strategy with the agent. When you're getting your listing ready to go, you also have your pricing ready to go. Now, if there's a long range of time between when you have the listing ready and the pricing ready, you can always readjust, but at least you have an idea of where you should price it. It's also important that you price it so that you get a quick and competitive offer, often with the best terms, perhaps waiving things like appraisal and most of the home inspection contingency. This will ensure that your buyer gets to closing. The fifth and final mistake is not properly coordinating timing. Timing is a sensitive issue when it comes to the process of selling and buying. In a perfect world, your closing of your sale would close in the morning, you'd have your moving truck packed up, and then your purchase would close in the afternoon, and you would deliver the moving truck to the new address, you'd unpack, and you'd be home. But do we live in a perfect world? I don't think so. So again, it's very important you strategize on how this is going to go. If you have the means to do it, many times it's a lot easier to purchase your new home and then worry about selling yours, or at least put it on the market while you're going through the purchase. If you can afford to do so, if you can afford to get the loan still, that usually is the path of least resistance. However, many times we find that sellers do need to sell their property in order to buy a new one. What we can do is arrange a timeline of that sale to be extended. And we've done this for several clients. You put your home on the market, you get an accepted offer. Instead of a standard 45 to 60 day closing, you may extend that to 90 days, 100 days. This way it gives you enough time to find and purchase the new home. Or if you have something in mind, even better, because this way you can deal with the sale, line it up perfectly with the closing. Otherwise, there are other options. There are things like bridge loans where you can get a loan knowing that you're going to sell your property to purchase the next one. And these are definitely things you should discuss with both your agent and your lender. But timeline is very important to keep in mind. To make it a little bit more complicated, if you have children, you got to think about that timeline from a school perspective also. If you want to get them in school prior to the first day, that's something to keep in mind as well. I just want to emphasize that the most important thing in this whole process is having the right team. Having a team that works together, that communicates with each other, and that's done this for other clients. They have the experience and the knowledge to move you forward and do it as smoothly as possible. So please reach out to us if this is something you're looking to do. We'd be glad to help. So now you know the common mistakes to avoid when trying to upgrade your home. But if you're still struggling on how to approach this, go ahead and schedule a call below.